So you basically think Red Dead Redemption is Fight Club?
Yes, yeah, it's that.
It's Tyler Durden.
That kind of thing.
He's Tyler Durden.
Yes. I think he is Gavin.
Okay.
He's received a letter from Nigel, which he has on him. That makes absolute sense. And the reason he will just forever walk around trying to search for Gavin and never find him is because he never looked in a mirror.
Welcome back to another Talking with DFR episode. This week we are discussing all things Red Dead Redemption 2. So I know you guys have asked for it for quite a long time now. We're doing some Red Dead Redemption 2 content. We're talking conspiracies. We've got a number of conspiracies, as you've probably seen at the start already, that some of the key ones that obviously are real significant throughout Red Dead Redemption 2. People have spoke about it. So we've got Gavin, Strange Man, Arthur, many more. We're going to be trying uncovering them. We've got the help of Charm the Gamer, as always, discussing and going to try and help us walk through. If you are new here, please make sure you subscribe and make sure you like the video. There is a hidden Arthur hidden somewhere in the video, so the first person to find it, you'll be pinned in the comments. Also, the channel now has Ko-fi. What is Ko-fi, you're asking? It is a way to support the channel. You can buy me a coffee Ko-fi or support. We've got a goal on there that the channel wants to achieve in order to upgrade all the podcast equipment. So if you feel you want to support, go over, the link's in the description. Let's get into the video. Welcome, Charm. How are we doing, mate? We good?
I'm good. I just got quite a severe finger injury. You want to talk about my finger injury?
If you want, yeah. It's probably not an opening podcast line, but go on.
You don't know. People Googling fingering-based injuries on YouTube, probably.
Right.
Okay. Just flicked it on a bit of plastic and I was like, really hurt.
Oh, great. I could hope you'll get better.
King of anecdotes, me.
Brilliant. Cool.
What are we here for?
We're talking Red Dead Redemption 2 is what we're talking.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 2. So first of all...
You so rarely talk about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Never done many videos on it. Thank you for taking us to do an intro and then drinking this time rather than your standard slurping noise. So we're talking Red Dead Redemption 2. We're talking conspiracies. People have coughed and created... Cue Arthur. We'll talk about that in a minute. So there's a number of conspiracies. A lot of people believe. Some of them I believe in. Some of them you believe. And some of them no one believe. Okay?
Yeah.
So first of all, have you played Red Dead 2?
I've dabbled in it, yeah. I've dabbled.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah. I was quite lucky. That's how we met, actually.
It was.
I was quite lucky that I was streaming that on TikTok and you popped in. So I managed to avoid all spoilers despite playing it roughly 10 years after it was released or whatever.
Spoilies, wasn't it?
Spoilies, yeah, no spoilies.
Did you misspell that wrong on purpose?
No.
You like the word spoilies.
I misspelled it wrong and then I misspelled it and then I just thought I'd stick with it. I managed to avoid all spoilers thanks to good mods and then I had people kind of guiding me to get the canon ending. Because it's quite easy to get a shit ending.
It is bad, yeah.
And when you first played it, you just went through heavy low honor, didn't you? I
never had any. I didn't. So I know it's bad. I said this on numerous podcasts and messages. I just wasn't even aware of it. I never watched cutscenes in any video game, and that's. I always skip them. I just enjoy the action bit. I've never, and then obviously. The person who told me to play it, when I got to chapter 6, he was like, what do you think? I was like, yeah, Arthur seems pretty cool. Like, Micah seems like a bit weird. He's like, don't you hate him? I was like, not really. I just skipped them all. I didn't know anything. So chapter 6, I just stopped. Yeah. And obviously I didn't know about the honor system. I didn't listen to any tutorials. So he told me to go with John. And he's like, did you cry at the ending? I was like, no, his face got blown off. Like, what? I was like, he wasn't even aware there was a good honor, bad honor. So, man.
The good honor go with John ending is just
it's nice.
It's so beautiful. It's just such a beautiful scene. But yeah, I love the game. I mean, cool. I'm not so far up its arse like many people are that it's like, you know,
so me basically,
yeah, okay. Basically you. But people who are just like they're just. It's a great video game. It's a great story.
Don't build your content around it.
What I would say is don't build your whole career around it because after about 5,000 hours, you're like, that's a bit tedious now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. Right, conspiracies. Rather than YouTube conspiracies, I've got a list of them here, okay?
Yeah.
So we'll go through them. First one I think we have to call, was Micah the rat?
I mean, there is some evidence of that, isn't there?
Yep.
It doesn't when they go into the when they go into the that little cabin where the Pinkertons are. Doesn't he say something about Micah there?
Yeah. He says that it wasn't Molly, it was Micah.
Yeah. So the question is Mr. Pinkerton, is he lying or not? Is he lying or not?
There's two things with that, like, and I think Rockstar are always quite upfront, but then they do it on purpose to make sure like it's so upfront, it's not upfront. But then people, you know, when people say like, "Oh, the answer's right in front of you," but then Rockstar sometimes make things it's so obvious it's not. So I think he was, and others there were more.
So I mean, let's get it straight, right?
Yeah.
Micah is a great character.
Yes.
I called him Mika for a long time. I thought he was based on that. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be that guy, Mika. He's a great character. He's a character that you love to hate. He is a dick.
Yes.
But he's probably closer to like an outlaw than like Arthur is. So it makes sense that he would be out for himself, right? Mm-hmm. He gets imprisoned. Who knows what happens when that's happening? He is in prison, isn't he? He goes to prison, and you have to break him out.
He gets caught, and they're about to kill him. Yeah, and then Arthur breaks him out. Ironically.
Yeah. So like what he said in there, who knows? What he revealed in there, who knows? So I think there's a good shout. I think it would be very in character for Micah to go, yeah, I'm the rat. What were the other clues that he's the rat?
So obviously was it Agent Milton says that he is, first of all. There's obviously he says first of all that he was the person.
Yeah.
Him breaking up, obviously once Hosea died, breaking up like the relationship between him and Dutch sort of wormed his way in. Mm-hmm. Loads of instances. So another one was basically saying he was the only person wearing white in the bank robbery. He wore white so the Pinkertons wouldn't shoot him.
Right. Okay.
So like that he knew about that. That as soon as I think the Blackwater as well, that he'd only recently joined, and then all of a sudden they said as soon as they robbed the ferry, they were all on top of him already.
Yeah, the whole Blackwater thing. I mean, this is why I think Red Dead Redemption 3, and you know, I'm happy to reveal this here on this podcast.
Thank you.
The Red Dead Redemption 3 is actually going to be, and I've got this from good sources.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 3 is going to be another prequel. I think they're going to go further back in time. Because John's absolutely boring. Nobody wants to hear anything more from him.
You haven't played Red Dead Redemption 1, have you?
Boring.
You can't. Why have you not played that?
Oh, I'm a good dad now. I'm a good dad. Oh.
He was a terrible dad in Red Dead 1. He was
he?
Terrible.
Worse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway.
I like the fact, like, the whole way through, he's like, he doesn't even call him his name. He's like, the kid, the boy. Where is child? Like, what? His name's Jack.
Oh, look who he's with though. I mean,
oh god. Well, that's
Jesus.
Something else. Abigail.
If I had been him, I'd have wished I was Lenny or Sean. If I'd have been stuck with fucking her. Rating on, even at the end when he's built her a nice house and she's like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you always blah blah? Shut up.
Well, there's talks of her being a rat, and the reason why. So,
she looks like a rat. What?
She does. Don't worry, the actual actress will never watch this anyway, so it's fine. So it's like,
is it based on the real woman? Shit.
Yeah,
I'm sure she's beautiful. They just didn't do the polygons right.
They didn't. No, they didn't. So apparently, like, obviously that she's been with a number of the gang.
Yeah.
She would sell out to get out because obviously she wants to just protect Jack. She just wants to protect her family. And it's kind of ironic that, you know, I always thought that she was something to do wrong, and we even had a podcast on it. And I think the more I think about it, the more I think of that's it's just a bit mad because she gets captured in Red Dead 1. Obviously, I won't spoil it if you're going to play it. Mm-hmm. And like, it's just a bit weird.
Look, I think there's a good shout for the other question is there just one? Is there like multiple leaks from the gang?
There'll be multiple.
Isn't there a rumor that Pearson? You hate Pearson, don't you?
I fucking hate Pearson. I fucking hate him.
What's your problem with him? Isn't he just a lovely, jolly butcher man?
Yeah, he just has nothing. He adds nothing. He adds nothing to the game. You know, and I feel terrible. He adds
stew. He makes a good stew.
I know. I would love. I even reached out to him to have an interview. He said about doing it. I felt terrible because I was like, I would love to have a chat, but generally, I just feel like the character's terrible. Like you don't really do anything. You moan all the time, and it's just like there's no. Yeah, I mean, at least Micah, you hate him for a reason, this and that, and whatever. You know.
I think Red Dead 3 will reveal more about this. I think Red Dead 3 will go back in time. I don't think they'll do the Civil War thing. I don't think they'll go post Red Dead 1. I think they'll go prequel, and I think it will start with Arthur joining the gang as, what was he, like 14 or something 14, when he joined the 13, gang?
Something around that, yeah.
He was young. I think it will start with him joining the gang, and then you will play through all the way up to Blackwater, and it will lead seamlessly. You'll play the Blackwater mission, will be your final mission, and then it will go directly into Red Dead 2. I think that'll go prequel again.
Look, if I won't ruin one for you, but one, you play as the main character, and at the end you swap, and then you can free roam. 2, you play as the main character, you swap and then free roam. So how would you free roam? Because I don't think they'll do Blackwater. I don't think they will, because it's like they have to be able to free roam, like in.
Well, it depends on which character you focus on. They could introduce a whole new character. Yeah, maybe you don't play as Arthur. They'll introduce a whole new character, and maybe that character. Here, plot twist, right? I don't know if this will work, and I'm just looking it off the top of my head. Milton. He's part of the gang. Yeah. He's infiltrated the gang, maybe, and he takes you all the way up to Blackwater, and then you free roam around as Milton, doing whatever you want at the end. That's not going to be it, but
no. Well,
otherwise it's a Civil War game, which is not doesn't feel like a Rockstar thing.
No one wants further on, but people were saying that it may well be that you play as someone, and then it's obviously Dutch and Colm. Like there's like a bit of like issues with both of them. It'll be about them, and then you end up as Dutch, and then it'll be like the next step is Blackwater. But the thing is, I think it's 10, 15 years away, so we ain't got to worry about that, have we?
It's at least 10, isn't it? Unless they've been doing some stuff in the background.
Well, I had a chat with a character for Dutch, and he just said, honestly, they haven't come to a script, and he said that we've mentioned about it, but I haven't done anything around scripting. And the script, you normally see the script, you then obviously plan it, book it. He said that we're nowhere near that, and obviously to write a game with Rockstar, 12 years now. I mean, you have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, how long have they been making GTA 6? 10?
200 years now. Yeah. it's going to whatever it is, it's going to be a failure, and I know it's terrible, but that's completely different, separate. I think we should put enough on that.
Mate, it's because people are idiots. I literally saw a screenshot of people zooming right in on like the shoulder of the girl character, going, "Oh, I can see a polygon. They've missed a polygon. The wind isn't quite right in her hair." Shut up, you fucking dick.
I'm looking forward to the secrets and this and that in it. I think that'd be cool. Like finding random stuff. Like you could be the first person to find. So I think that'd be cool. But
I thought GTA 5 was trash, so it's all up for.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Okay, right. So Michael wasn't the only rat. He was a rat, but there were
multiple rats, all leaking, and Abigail should have been. The first thing I tried to do. I've said this multiple times. First thing, as soon as the game was finished, just before free roam, when you're standing on the edge of that little cliff thing,
gotcha.
All I did was threw dynamite at her and tried to shoot her, and the game would not let me kill her. She just kept going, "What are you doing?" Yeah. I was like, "I'm trying to murder you to death."
She is annoying. Okay, cool. Yeah. Right, that one's done.
Yeah,
we've got another one.
Yeah,
from Nigel or Gavin. So there's a man wanders round. Originally, obviously, Gavin.
That's what he does the whole time, isn't it?
That is exactly, yeah. So, was he, and there's a lot of theories saying that he is Gavin.
Yeah.
And he actually just went completely psychotic. He wrote a note to himself that there was never a Nigel. Or was it actually that he was looking for his friend and he was wandering around and he's just lost them because he's from England and England don't understand the size difference to America because maybe England isn't even as big as it's one of the smallest states in America. So obviously we'd wander around everywhere.
So I think one of the rules of the unwritten rules of Red Dead is that you kill Gavin, right? No, you kill Nigel. Sorry.
I don't think many people kill him.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they do because they like him wandering. They're like, oh, I've just.
You keep bumping into him, don't you? I didn't kill him the first time, but I think I killed him. I can't remember where I was, but I was like, you know what? I've had enough of you.
There wasn't any NPCs left. There just wasn't.
Just a desolate landscape. Just John walking around looking for people.
I just remember spending hours in Van Horn, just constantly obliterating it because as soon as you piss one person off, they just constantly fire at you, didn't they?
Yeah.
Go for a whole town. I spent hours there.
So for people who don't know,
yep,
the Nigel Gavin thing, he walks around and he's just constantly calling for his friend. And if you interact with him, he's like, I've lost my friend.
Yep.
Can you help me find him?
Yep.
And if you only get the letter if you kill him though, right?
Yeah. So if you loot him afterwards, yes, you wouldn't know if he wasn't. So
if you kill that character, he has a letter, and that letter essentially is a letter to Gavin, right?
Yeah, and he signs it Nigel, yeah.
And he signs it Nigel. Now, I probably heard this from you. Mm-hmm. So the prevailing thing is that there's two things. He's either searching for his mate who's genuinely lost, he's mad, and Nigel is Gavin.
Yeah.
But the one I heard from you is that there is a character called Nigel in the game that was never included. Is that right?
No.
What's the giant in the cave then? The dude in the cave? Wasn't there a rumour that he was Nigel?
No.
Who's the dude in the cave then?
That's a giant that they never put into it.
Oh, right.
That was like an actual giant that they took away the character.
And his name's not Nigel?
No.
Okay.
No. The theory is that Nigel was someone who worked in the office of Rockstar. They left and they thought it'd be really hilarious to call someone Nigel, but then obviously they changed to Gavin. So there never was, and the actual character's name of Nigel is Gavin. So when you try and load him, his name is Gavin. So it was like a joke of someone who's left, and they just left it in there because they thought it'd be funny because they're looking for him because they were friends with him and he's left. So they're constantly asking. That was
so the actual explanation is just that it's a stupid little joke by Rockstar.
Yeah.
But is he mad? I mean, he seems a bit flustered.
In the first bit with Arthur, he seems fine.
Yeah.
When you see him with John, he's like scraggled.
He gets kind of gradually more desperate as the game goes on, doesn't he? And what does the letter say?
I don't know offhand, but it's basically saying I've been looking for you. He'll meet him. He's got an English accent. I honestly can't remember what it is.
So why has he got a letter on him? Who's he sending it to? If he doesn't know where he is, who's he sending the letter to? Why has he written the letter?
Yeah. I don't know the specifics, which I probably should know.
I mean, that to me is some evidence that he's a bit mental. Because he's like, if you're going to send a letter to someone, don't know if everyone knows how this works, one of the main things you need is an address, right?
Or a postage stamp.
Postage stamp is also good.
Yeah.
Or you just send it to them and go, "Hi, you're going to have to fucking pay for that on the other end, mate."
I definitely used to have that then. I don't think...
think they did.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen the Kevin Costner film, The Postman. That's all about. It's all about postal workers in the Wild West. Why do I know about that film?
You know about that, but you don't know about... But it don't matter. It's fine. Yeah, you're gone. Yeah.
Kevin Costner.
I'm breaking up your...
Big into Kevin Costner. Anyway, so he's written a letter. He's got nowhere to send it to. Like, why has he got it on him? If at the point at which he knows where to send the letter, he's like, problem solved. I found Gavin.
Or perhaps perhaps I'm misremembering it. Perhaps he had a letter from him to Nigel from Gavin.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
But then perhaps in those sort of times, didn't people used to have letters and stuff on them? Like when they got killed, it'd be like, oh, that's a memory of like to my daughter when you send it to give it to her.
I don't know, man. Maybe that is the thing. Maybe he received the letter from Nigel.
Yeah.
And he is Gavin. Maybe that is proof that that would make more sense that he's been sent the letter and received it. And the reason he can never find Gavin is because he's in fact Gavin. Maybe that is it.
His actual model is Gavin. So as soon as I found that and was messing around with him, I was like, well, obviously there's no Nigel. There isn't. There is no Nigel. And people went into files and stuff, and there's no official Nigel. There isn't.
Okay, so I think he is Gavin.
Okay.
He's received a letter from Nigel, which he has on him. That makes absolute sense. And the reason he will just forever walk around trying to search for Gavin and never find him is because he never looked in a fucking mirror.
Okay. Were mirrors invented in 1899?
There's mirrors in the games, isn't there?
I'm just asking. It's a question.
Polished glass. Yeah, I think mirrors were invented. They weren't like good ones like now, where you can see through the other side in hotel rooms. But they were. I think polished glass.
They 100% were. So yeah, that's fine. But you think
Oh, you were testing me.
I was testing your knowledge.
And my mirror-based knowledge.
Yes.
Okay.
Mirrors were invented in 5000 BC,
which is before Christopher.
St. Charles. Right, next one. So right, he's madly psychotic. We've got the strange man, and obviously you saying you haven't played Red Dead 1. This may be a bit of a tricky one. You may well not be aware of the strange man. He's a strange man.
The clue's in the name of that one, isn't it?
He's the clues in the name. He was a mysterious stranger, they called him, in Red Dead Redemption 1. He was a person you used to have an interaction with. Are you going to play Red Dead 1 or not?
Oh, I mean, I probably will at some point.
Can I
they've remastered it. No, you can go for it, mate.
Okay, cool. So basically, you have
Red one.
A number of cutscenes where he'll say he's been watching John. He sees what he's doing. He's aware that he's killed people. He's aware that, like, specific people. He's telling him to go and help people, which he'll have no prior knowledge to. And then when John tries to shoot him, he physically, like, the bullets just go through him. He appears in Red Dead 2, obviously just for like a second. So you see him in the reflection of a mirror. Mirrors are real in Red Dead 2. So when you go to his, there you go, we've proved it. When you go to his cabin, if you go to his cabin in every different chapter, you'll see more and more stuff that he's building up. So like there's like a cabin in the bayou, and like if you go in chapter 2, he'll have like paintings on the wall, and then on chapter 3 there'll be more painting. You get to chapter 6, his face is fully painted. You go back as John, and as you go to look in the mirror, he'll be seeing the reflection. As soon as you turn around, he's gone. A lot of people think that he is either death or God or something along that.
Nobody went, this guy's a stalker.
He's definitely got stalker vibes. But can stalkers dodge bullets? We know Neo could. But
Neo, and did he stalk
them.
anyone? Yeah.
A bit weird with Trinity, wasn't he? It was a bit weird. That whole relationship was a bit strange.
Yeah.
So you think he might have been from the Matrix?
I think he was the one. Or he was one of the ones. Who knows? I mean, here's the weird thing with Red Dead, thinking about it now, the weird thing with Red Dead 2, right? There's UFOs.
There are.
There's ghost trains.
There are.
There's a vampire.
There is.
There's the strange man. Like, it's fundamentally set in a hyper-realistic world, right? It is supposed to reflect the kind of coming to the end of the Wild West.
Yeah.
And then they add these supernatural things in that don't really make sense. So they don't really make sense in terms of, like, I suppose the vampire you could play off. Is it a vampire? Is it just a guy who likes to lick a bit of blood? Who knows? But he moved fucking quick. He killed me.
He did.
He was too fast for me. But that's kind of a mismatch for me. Like, is he God? Is he death? I mean, that's quite a leap, isn't it? It's quite a leap to go.
It is. Yeah.
But like, can you go through Red Dead 1 without interacting with him?
No, you have to interact with him. You have to see the cutscenes. You have to.
So he's kind of almost pushing the story forward in Red Dead 1.
The other thing, just to mention with him, because obviously I haven't mentioned it, so the only main addition he's got in Red Dead 2 is Armadillo. So Armadillo, if you've seen, it's got a curse on it. So
right.
It's got so whenever you go there, obviously there's everyone's got cholera and that sort of stuff there, but there's one shop,
right?
And there's a guy who's in there who's perfectly fine, and he's perfectly well. In Red Dead 1, it actually turns out that he's a racist and hates every single...
Sometimes it happens.
It does. But in Red Dead 2, you go into his shop and he's got a little picture of the strange man on his wall. And you can go in and interact with it and he'll go, oh, it's just a friend of mine. Because John will go, that face looks really familiar or something. And he'll go, oh, well, yeah, he's a friend of mine. If you kill the guy in the shop, he'll have a note on him to apologise to his daughter and be like, I'm really sorry, I had to do this for my health and whatever.
Sorry that I'm a horrible racist.
That's it, yeah. If you go to the little cabin, there's like loads of little clues, basically with like a picture of a map of Armadillo. Basically, there's a lot of theories, but potentially
it's kind of he's made a deal with the devil for his own health.
That's it. So he's going to kill everyone in Armadillo, your shop, and you will be safe. And it's kind of ironic because he keeps going about, I'm fine, I'm fine. There's like a picture of him, and on the wall in the wall in his cave as well, there's like his name, basically saying his name's Herbert Moon. He's like, the moon will prevail, but all else will fail, or something like that.
I've got a question that might solve this. The strange man.
Yeah.
Is he massive and red and got two horns?
He's got a top hat. He looked
But
a lot like
could they be
Trelawney.
hiding? Could they be hiding horns? That top hat. Because the one thing I know about the devil,
he's not red.
right? Because that would have solved it. I'd have been like, if he was big and red and had horns,
Yeah.
I would have gone probably the devil.
Okay.
I mean,
But then Neo wore a black coat. He does wear a black coat.
fair, yeah, fair. Never wears a top hat though. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and there's never referenced who he is in, like, why he's there and forward in the story in Red Dead 1.
See, I honestly don't remember that much in Red Dead Redemption 1, but the cutscenes with it, there's no real... It's all like... Obviously, I don't want to ruin it because you will play at one point, but basically he shoots 3 bullets and they all miss him. They basically go straight through him. It's like, you can't kill me, John. You know who I am. And it's constantly like basically saying, you know you can't kill me. You know what you have to do. And it's...
Isn't it... it's the kind of crux of Red Dead 1 that John is... Is John trying to get his redemption? He's trying to... Is he going around trying to resolve the kind of things in his past from the things that happened in Red Dead 2?
The story basically is that the people who look over... So, you know, the very end of Red Dead 2, there's like 2 agents that looking over his farm, his estate, Beecher's Hope. Those are the people that come in basically say that, you know, we know you've been an outlaw in your last life. We know you're not now. Like Bill's got his own gang, Dutch is up wherever he is. You know, Javier's rolling with some people. We're going to take your family. So he takes Abigail and the kid, the boy, and basically says, you know, if you do what we tell you, if you go and kill all the people or bring them to us, then we'll give your family back.
So here's my thing then.
is-
Here's my theory that I've just come up with fucking right now, and maybe other people have come up with this. Maybe the strange man is just like John's Jiminy Cricket, his conscience.
Right.
Just going, here's the things you need to go and do to get your redemption.
That is a really good idea.
I think God is too much. I think it's too out there.
So you basically think Red Dead Redemption is Fight Club?
Yes, yeah, it's that. It's
Tyler Durden.
that kind of thing.
He's Tyler Durden.
Yes, I think that's a decent theory.
That is a brilliant theory I've never heard of, but that is...
Fuck, I'm a genius. Have
are.
I just become famous in Red Dead?
I don't think you become a genius, but I think you're a genius. You're a genius.
That's the fucking...
The strange man
That's
is
the
Tyler
thumbnail.
Durden.
Yeah, that's the thumbnail right there, sir. I like it. I think that works. I think that works.
I do think it works.
That's
great.
good.
Obviously, as soon as you talk,
People are going to be furious. Like, he's never even played Red Dead 1. Why is he talking about this? Anyway.
you've nailed it.
I think that's
last
the one.
theory.
Yeah.
I'm conscious of time. I know, obviously, and we've had so much knowledge and gone through so much. The last one, Dutch Vanderlyn. Okay.
Yeah.
Up to chapter, 4? Quite level-headed. Obviously, with Hosea, quite level-headed. You know, quite fine. When he hit his head, the theory is that caused him to have to lose his mind a bit. Right. When he smashed it in the level, obviously, where he goes in the trolley, he smashes his head.
Yeah.
People say that knocks something, and that caused him to go somewhat crazy, somewhat delusional. Before that, he was quite level-headed. I don't agree with that. But a lot of people say he's quite level-headed. He hits his head in the trolley. It then causes him to lose his way a bit, which then causes him to turn into craziness of killing Spanish old women and, shooting off, mafia bosses and stuff.
Yeah, but that old Spanish woman, she was up to something, wasn't she?
She was.
She was like, Hey, gringo, come into this cave with me and I will show you a ladder to get out. Don't worry about it. It's absolutely no problem. I'm helping you for... That's exactly how she sounded.
She would have sold him down the river. She would have 100%. It was...
And... That's such a funny line. You said you knew Spanish. And he's like, awkward.
There's that bit, obviously, English or Spanish. Someone did a meme of it, that English or Spanish at that bit. Yeah. It's like, you said you knew Spanish, and then it was like English or Spanish, and they both just freeze looking at each other. I thought it was quite a good meme.
Here's I've said this theory about Dutch before, quite early. I did a few... I think people think I was, like, clickbaiting them. When I was playing through Red Dead, I did a whole bunch of things as I was playing through predictions. Things that I feel were quite obvious, like not trusting Micah and my thing on Dutch was that from the very beginning he is a true outlaw. I don't think with Arthur he's you're torn. Arthur's kind of indoctrinated into the gang and feels like that's his family. But he's really torn by all the things that he has to do. Like when he sits down and has the conversation with the nun and whatever, he like has guilt, I think, for what he's done. Oh, just whilst I think about it, the strange man, could he be the ghost of Arthur's dead son? That's up for debate.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, you nailed it. Never. Yeah, I mean...
one of the funniest bits of Red Dead 2 for me, in my first playthrough, the bit where you're climbing up with the Native American guy and Arthur's telling the story about his dead son.
Charles, yeah? Oh, no, that guy. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's with whatever his name is. I can't remember. He's got...
Eagle
Falls, something like that. Anyway, you're on the horse and you're with... I've gone off tangent. I've gone on a tangent here, which is standard. But you got it up there and Arthur's like, I had a son once... Came home one day, and right in the middle, as Arthur's talking about his dead son, I'd been climbing up the hill, and the Native American guy's just like, "Hang on a minute, I need to pick some heather." So Arthur's in the middle of this really emotional story about came home one day, saw crosses, and then he's like, "Hang on a second, I've got to pick some plants." And he just fucking cuts him off mid-sentence when he's talking about his dead son. And Arthur's just like, "Okay then." Go off and pick some still. Get back on the horse. He's like, "Came home one day and there were crosses in the ground." Oh, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I don't really give a shit about a story. I've got to pick some of those plants over there." Anyway, what are we talking about? We're talking about Dutch. So from the very beginning, right? Dutch's raison d'etre, his modus operandi, his other Latin names, he was just out for himself, right? He gives the illusion early on that he's like, it's all about the gang and it's all about getting to where do they want to go? Tahiti or something? Where's he want to get back to? Is it Tahiti?
He wants to be free. Well, himself, his idea, wants to get to... That's halfway through, but he wants to...
So he basically wants to leave the outlaw life.
Yeah.
But Dutch's whole identity is being an outlaw. It's the Vanderling gang. If Dutch makes all the money and they actually get to go away, like, who is he then? It's the typical outlaw thing, just one more big score and then I'll retire. But it's never enough. It will never, ever be enough for Dutch.
So you think he's the Del Boy of Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yeah, it's just... I mean, not even that, because Del Boy had his little fucking watch or whatever, didn't he?
He won the lottery as well, didn't he? Or something. Or did he not?
He found an old antique. It was a watch, and he sold it, and it sold for me. But anyway, so I don't think that's why it's always one more job, just this last score, just this one thing, and then we'll go. There's always been points where it's like, oh, maybe we've got enough here. But there's always one more score. You can go in the game, you can make loads of money in the game if you just go off and don't do any main mission stuff. Go and find loads of gold, go and get all the money that you can, blah, 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 blah. Take it back, and you can... I saw someone, like, deposited, like, $1 million into the cap, and Dutch was like, thanks, man. And that's it. It doesn't give a shit. It's never enough for him. And he's always been out for himself, and I think just as the game goes through, I think Dutch slowly reveals more of his true colours and who he really is. He doesn't give a shit about the gang. He just gives a shit about his identity as the leader of the gang and being an outlaw. So... I don't think the head knock does anything. I think he gradually just unravels as the game goes on. I think he just reveals. There's lots of hints of that early on. Like there's lots of hints of him. He's an outlaw. He's an outlaw. He doesn't feel the same emotional connection that Arthur does when he's like. No. And it's just as he reveals more of who he really is, Arthur begins to question more and more. And look, you can argue that Micah is the one that he's the Yoko Ono that split up the band. But Arthur was questioning and making plans to abandon Dutch long before Micah became a real problem. The whole Micah thing only really reveals itself seriously towards the end. I suppose he's kind of in Dutch's ear, but if you look at all the main jobs that they plan, it's like Hosea, Arthur, and Dutch, and Micah is not. He's not really influential in that way.
Hosea had a big impact then.
Hosea's kind of the guy that he was the level-headed one, right? He was the one that's just kind of kept Dutch in line. So you could argue that Hosea dying was more of an influence on... I'm trying to think of the order now. Does he hit his head? The bank job... He hits his head before. Hosea dies, and then they end up in fucking Guarma or whatever.
It's in the same... I don't know. No, it definitely does. He's before because that's when you're in Saint Denis, isn't it?
Yeah, Hosea gets shot at the. It's Hosea that gets shot on the bank job, isn't it? Outside.
That's when they get on the boat. Yeah, so that's.
And they get on the boat. So I think Hosea is the thing that levels Dutch out and kind of keeps him in line. And then Hosea dies, and that's when it all starts to go to shit. Yeah. Dutch starts to get Micah in his ear more. They end up on Guarma. They go back. They do the one last. It just unravels from there.
Bunch of that voice in his ears.
Hosea's the one that's like, "Fucking come on, Dutch, stop being a dickhead here. Yeah. Let's just keep it in line." I'm probably the only person.
He's an outlaw. You mentioned at the very start about Micah. Micah 100% is out for himself. Very similar to Dutch. He's an
Dutch
outlaw.
Is as well.
Dutch is an outlaw. Where Hosea was a bit more like Arthur. Is a lot more level-headed. He's a little bit like, I don't. We were outlaws. I don't want to be outlaws. We want that life. But Dutch will never leave from it.
Yeah, Dutch will never leave that life. I think he probably cares about Arthur, he cares about Arthur, but not more than he cares about himself. And I think the killing of Micah in American Venom at the end there, spoiler. Yeah. If you're watching this,
come on, if you're watching this.
Anyway, the killing. That's his way of going.
That's redemption.
That's his Red Dead Redemption.
I was going to say Dead Redemption, but yeah, it's redemption.
But anyway, even that is about kind of looking after himself, really, isn't he? He kills Micah and then walks off, saves his own skin. It's like just more proof that Dutch will just be out for himself. I've got a question for you. The big speech that Dutch does when they're on top of the cliff in Red Dead 2.
What chapter? Chapter 2.
When they're surrounded on the edge of that cliff by the law enforcement.
Yeah.
And he does a big speech, and then they jump off the cliff and go down river. Is that the same speech? He does that speech in Red Dead 1, apparently. It's exactly the same thing. Is that just poor writing from the Rockstar team, or is it? Do you think Dutch just has one big speech that he does?
He'd hit his head by then, and it's just the same thing.
he's got amnesia.
Yeah, that is it. It's just the same thing over and over. And if there was another scene of him later in Red Dead 3, it'll just say the same scene again. It'll just be.
Yeah. So I think.
Or did you try and shoot him or jump? What did you do first time?
Well, I kept fucking the controls up a lot. You know, one of the first missions that you... One of the first... Is it the first mission? You chase that guy on the horse, and he ends up hanging onto the cliff.
Oh, Jimmy Brooks, yeah.
Yeah, and you help him up, and that's like one of the first kind of...
I bet you fell off, didn't you?
No. I picked him up, and there's two ways you can shoot your gun in Red Dead. There's one way you can aim and then shoot, and then there's one way you shoot from the hip. And I just saw a thing in the bottom of the... He got on his horse. I'd taken his fucking pen or whatever he gives you. I can't remember. And just as he was going away, I think it said like L2 to aim or something, and I just pressed R2, and it just went... I ended up killing him and lost some honour. So yeah, I made mistakes. So yeah, I made mistakes, but it was mainly control mistakes. So I think on the first go through, when it was like it told me to do something to put your hands up, it told you to press something to put your hands up, and I think I just pressed the trigger. And you can't survive that, can you? Because they all immediately just...
Well, there's loads. You just can't shoot them. You just can't shoot.
Yeah. So I think the first time I failed, and then the second time I jumped off the cliff. That's a nice little scene, that is.
Yeah, I think that brings us to a nice close. Well, I think your Dutch response, I think, was significantly by far your most tailored and well executed. So well done with that. Really
even more than the Strange Man theory.
I think your theory is incredible with the Strange Man, but your definitely think your description of that. Obviously, it's difficult if you haven't played, you haven't seen him as much, and like you said, even with Micah, you don't really see him as much as Dutch. You see him, you hate him, but Dutch, you see him throughout, and it's constantly like Dutch is turning this, Dutch is turning this. You see him more, and it's like, yeah. There you go. 3 conspiracy or 4 conspiracies done.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charm. Appreciate it. What do you want to see us next? Do you want more conspiracies next? If not, put it in the comments. Any conspiracies?
For all of you shitheads, and I'm calling you shitheads, I'm calling you out. I'm looking at you directly through the screen.
Right.
That have been going,
I follow you for Red Dead content. Why don't you do more Red Dead content? I want you to continue to do the same things that you've been doing for the past 4 years, because there's probably some secrets that haven't been... Here you go. This is for you.
This is for you.
You absolute
prick.
Boring prick. Right.
Couple of plurals. There's a couple of...
Hope this keeps you going.
Yeah.
You haven't even made it to this bit. You watched the first 10 minutes and then went on the hub, didn't you? Because that's what your attention span is. You absolute scum of the earth. Thank you for watching.
Them still? Sorry.
I'm talking to them.
Oh. I've just come off that. Cool. Catch you in the next one, mate.